morning. You probably see this on Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. As you know, or at least some of you know, uh, I actually work out of my parents' back garage. They let me use the space for my shop till I can afford to actually buy a building of my own. Been here a few years, and then one of my very first projects I made out here was a sign for my dad for a shop. It says Dad's Fix-It Shop. And since Father's Day is coming up, I thought I'd do a restoration on that sign. It's looking a little weathered, so that's what we're going to do today. Sand it down and repaint it, refinish it. And for some of you, you know how much I really love painting. I absolutely despise painting, but sometimes I make an exception. This is one of those times. So anyways, hope you're all having a good Father's Day, and sit back and watch the view. This little corner here by this wrench was actually busted away, so I kind of filled it in with CA glue. See if I can get a better shot of it here. There we go. But that'll all be painted anyways, so we really won't see it. That's the quickest way I can figure to fix it. Now we'll work at getting everything sanded down, and then I'll start painting. Okay, so I've got the base color all laid down. I use this stuff called Marsh Spray Ink. It's pretty good. It doesn't bleed if you're trying to get nice, clean, crisp lines. It just kind of sits right on top of the surface. I found it holds up really well outside as well. It's for sign makers. So I did all that, and then I'll paint the wrenches. Probably they're going to be silver or gray, and then the letters will be white. And I'm going to leave this outside. I don't know. I might go white on the outside as well, just to kind of make it pop a little bit more. But should turn out pretty cool. This spray ink dries really fast, so it's ready to go. It's a little tacky out here at the bottom, but where I want to paint, it's dry, so I can go ahead and start painting with my acrylic paints. And here we go. So there's the first coat of white on the letters. I'm going to continue to put at least one more coat on these. It's so tedious doing these. It's kind of relaxing at the same time. The main reason I don't like painting is because I don't really feel that I'm all that great at it. I guess I don't do it enough. But, anywho. So as I mentioned before, I work out of my parents' place here. I started this in 2017. And Dad had this shed built a couple years prior to that. His old shed was just getting a little too small. You know, you accumulate a lot of things and stuff like that. So and he got a bigger mower than what he'd ever had. So definitely needed the extra space. And at the time where I was working, I was pretty stressed out. I was looking for a way out. I did know pretty much right away that I just did not want to work for anybody else. So at that point, I had about 20 years in. And I just got was really getting into let me back up a little bit. I think I got my dates wrong. Because we had bought our first lab in 2008. His name was Winger. About that time, the economy took a really bad turn. So my workplace got really dicey. They didn't lay us off. They did cut our wages. They didn't lay us off. But my boss at the time, well, let's just say a lack of money made his true colors show. We'll put it nicely. So I endured about 7 years of him before he finally quit on my birthday. But all that while, I was working out here, just doing little stuff. I didn't have a CNC at that time. I had my dad's table saw. I had a really small drill press. I had a crappy sander, circular saw, of course, and some hand tools. My dad taught me pretty much how to use tools and everything from a young age. So I kind of owe all of this to him. Dad is a retired tool and die maker. He worked in machine shops from the time he was 14 years old. He's 80 years old now. He's fighting cancer. But even though he has bad days, and the memory is suffering because of the cancer meds, he still seems to just plug along. It's a little bit inspiring, a little hard to watch sometimes. But nobody likes to face their own mortality. So anyways, with Dad's help, I learned to run a CNC, a small CNC. This was about the maximum size that little thing could make, but it was a really good learning tool. I have since graduated to the bigger one. So in 2020, actually in 2017 is when I actually started my business officially. And man, I worked there at the end. I was working 80, 90 hours a week in 2020, started 2020, just to keep up. Because, of course, with COVID, everything was online only pretty much. So, honestly, that gave my business a big boost. And then, tail end of July of 2020, I gave my 2 weeks notice after basically I was told if I didn't like it how things were being ran, because there again the economy had taken a crap because of all the shutdowns. They again cut our wages. I never got back any of the money that I lost in 2008. Sure, we got raises every year, but that's not really how percentages work. So anyways, I got told if I didn't like how it was being ran, I should probably just leave. Well, we had paid off our house. We were in a pretty good position for me to just do that. So I gave my 2 weeks notice, finished out my 2 weeks. That was in August of 2020, and I've been here ever since. This is now 2025. But I wouldn't be here doing what I love if it wasn't for Dad. Pretty lucky to have a dad like him. When you're young, you don't think your parents are the greatest parents in the world. When you get older, you realize how much they sacrificed for you. All the money that they spent on you. Give you what you needed. Not always what you wanted, but what you needed. I was blessed with a pretty good childhood, honestly. I didn't have a lot, but it was definitely what we needed. We always had food in our belly and a roof over our head. Dad worked overtime as much as he could just to make ends meet. Worked nights for the night bonus. Some of the places he worked is probably why he has cancer, because he worked for American Hoist for a long time until they closed here in Fort Wayne. They did everything for cranes, and they made their own brakes and everything there, so they were in asbestos, and that's pretty much what gave him cancer. That, and probably from smoking all those years too, but lots of contributing factors. But sacrifices you make for your family usually take a toll on you, either physically, mentally, or just your general health. That was the other reason I knew I didn't want to work for anybody else, because I was really tired of making somebody else rich. Do you know what I mean? All my hard work took a toll on me. Made me who I am. Gave me some skills that I probably wouldn't have had before. But it still takes a toll. At least this way, I'm working toward something for me. Hopefully, my customers enjoy my work as much as I did making it for them. So anyways, to all you super dads out there, happy Father's Day. To all you kids, sons and daughters, better give Dad a big hug today. So here we go, got it all dry. It's time to put the clear on. We'll flip it over first. We'll clear the back. You should always seal the back of your stuff basically the same way you seal the front of it. That way it keeps it from warping. One side gets wet. It keeps the moisture level. Moisture in the wood will always change with the seasons, but you can help mitigate some of that by properly finishing your projects. It'll keep things from warping and twisting on you really bad. I'm just using some plain old polyacrylic, some satin finish. We'll put a couple coats of this on here. It'll help seal this up. Once upon a time, this already had a waterproof sealer on it, but obviously that's faded over the years. It's been up there for quite a few years. Filled up pretty well. If I remember right, this was actually made out of elm. Elm is not a wood that's super popular because there's not a lot of it around anymore because of all the elm trees dying off. But I do get some of it sometimes because I have a small supply of it for things. you.